If you have been struggling to put money together to deposit for a property, you want to get on the mortgage, you want to get on the property ladder, but you have been struggling with putting money together because sometimes it could be very hard to save money in this country because you are putting the money together, unforeseen circumstances, left, right, and center will fall press on the money. It does happen to a lot of people, including me. Everybody has experienced a thing like that at a particular given point in time. But if you are the type that is interested in getting your own property, something you will call your own in the future, something you want to get away completely from rent, the disturbances from landlords, from letting agents and all of that, the easiest way for you, perhaps if you're a single person, the easiest way for you is to consider the shared ownership. Consider the shared ownership. It's really going to help you to quickly get on the property ladder. All right. The shared ownership is when you buy a certain percentage, depending on your affordability. Okay. If it is 25%, you are going to buy of the property, you mortgage that 25%, and then you pay rent on the rest 75%. You understand? And the rent they're going to charge you is actually usually about 3.5% lower than the normal market value. You understand? Normal market rent. You understand? Normal rent in the market. Let me put it that way. Okay, so you actually get your rent lower than the usual price. Okay, and then this 25% is what you are now getting a mortgage on. Okay, now before I go into details, because I've got some analysis here which I'm going to break down for you to understand. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through these with you because I've got some points which I just don't want to forget. Okay, now start by buying minimum shares of 25%. Start by buying. That doesn't mean you can't buy more shares as you go along in the journey. You can decide to say, okay, in the next couple of years, I want to buy another 10%, another 20%, another 30%, depending on how you are able to. You are not being pushed, you are not being forced. All right. Now, deposits are usually between 5 to 10% of the price of your share. So the deposit you are dropping is going to be based on the percentage you are buying, based on the percentage you are mortgaging. If you are mortgaging 25% or 30%, so your deposit is just going to be the 5% of that 25% of the property. Now, I'm going to get to this. Okay, let me quickly do it now. Say, for instance, you are buying 25% of the property that is worth 250K. Take, for instance, now, if the price of the property is 250,000, and you are buying the 25% of that 250,000, that will be 62,500 pounds. That is the 25% of the property. Now, you will now pay 5% of that 62,500. And that 5% will be 3,125. That is all you've got to pay for the deposit for that. And then don't forget that you will still pay rent on the rest 75%. This is just your deposit. Now, the mortgage advisor or the lender, at the end of the day, will calculate how much you're going to be paying monthly going forward on that your 5%, on that your 25%. The 3,125 is just your deposit, initial deposit, okay? Now, so going forward, the mortgage you're going to be paying subsequently will now be discussed with the interest, with your lender, and the mortgage broker will continue to discuss that with you. All right? So let's go quickly into what I started. All right. Now, you only need a mortgage to cover the price of your share. You need a mortgage to cover the price of your share. So the share you are buying is what you are getting mortgage on. You don't need to go and get mortgage on 250,000. Just get mortgage on the share you are buying. And I'm sure there are loads of lenders out there that will be willing to borrow you because you're not even buying much anyways. But then you still have to maintain that you have a consistent job, a permanent job, you have a right visa, you have good credit rating before a lender can actually borrow you. I've done the video before. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Now, another thing is this, okay? Increase your share bit by bit all the way to owning 100%. Just like I said earlier, you can gradually increase your share on that property as you go along in the journey. Maybe every now and then you can say you want to buy 5% more to yourself, 10% more to yourself, etc., etc. Stamp duty can generally be deferred until your share reaches 80%. Okay? Lower running cost of new built homes with latest technologies, features, and fittings. Don't forget, it's a new property, it's a brand new house. So every appliances in that property, brand new. And then you have what is called the cladding, the insulator, which will reserve the heat. So you don't have to spend too much money on eating. You don't have to spend too much money because you're using the dishwasher, washing machine, because they are brand new appliances with energy, good energy rating. Okay. So the rent on the share you don't own is often less market rent. I said it earlier. I said the rent on the share you don't own is often less market rent, usually 3.75% of the full market value. So you pay less rent. The money you're going to be paying on the 75% is actually going to be lower compared to what you get on the normal market. You understand? So these are the advantages you get, okay, when you are getting on the property ladder. It's very good for a single person, to be honest. Very, very. If you are single, you've been struggling to save deposit to buy 100% of the property, you can actually get on a property ladder with this. And at the end of the day, in the future, you can sell your share of this property. This is your 25% will have accrue some amount of money that will be on equity on it. After a few years in the future, you can sell your share and then you go and use the money to deposit outright for another property. Now, let me share with you the cons, all right? Shared ownership properties are leasehold. They are leasehold, which means buyers may need to pay additional charges and extend their lease at some point. They may also be restricted in the alteration they can make to the property. You might be restricted in some areas. Alterations, do not call this, do not call that, which is very normal. Because if you are buying brand new property or you are still on warranty and insurance as well, the insurance will tell you cannot do this, because if you do this, you're going to alter certain things. And at the end of the day, your insurance is not covered or your warranty is not covered on that, which is quite normal for you to do. And as a matter of fact, brand new house, what do you want to do about it? What do you want to break? So all of these things are quite good. Now, the pros, I'm going to share just one pros with you. Shared ownership can help people get on the property ladder without overextending themselves. Okay, it can also make mortgages more accessible for people on lower wages. So even if your salary is so low, you still can get on this, because how much you're going to be paying, on your 25% and the rent, by the time you look at it, it's actually worth it, to be honest. And you can do some jogging around. I don't want to talk about that on this. All right. So guys, try as much as possible. If you're struggling with your deposit, try and get on this shared ownership. It's really good, to be honest with you. Try as much as possible to follow me on all my social media platforms. Okay. I drop quite a good number of tips on all my platforms, and I'll see you in the next video.